Hey folks, hope you guys are having a good week following Christmas. Welcome to the Fantasy Livewrite. We're working a little bit. I am getting over a pretty bad cold, so I may not stream the entire time here. Kind of finish off this chapter, tie that up, and then we'll have the kind of final part of the story where we've gone there, now we'll go back again. And so we'll have the back again portion of our journey, where we have to go back and confront Edward, figure out how to save the kingdom. So that's what we're going to do. If you're interested in the music, I will link the music only channel. I kind of wonder what people think about. Let me make sure there's enough audio here and we're not peaking too much. I was playing with some other mics. But my wife got me an SM7B, which is it's almost a cliche kind of mic, and I hate the way a lot of people use it. But because it's a dynamic mic, it's really helpful because of all the noise. Really, I should have had it for a long time because of the dog barking. Cut down on the dog barking. Yeah. So hook that up, and then you won't get the ASMR clicks. I don't know. Some people maybe like the clicking, the keyboard clicks. I'm not really sure. What people like so much. Some people seem to like the sound of the keyboard, the click, click, clacking. But I don't have that hooked up right now because I need to like hook up a boom and figure out like how am I going to boom this over. I hate another reason I don't like this is that people, you got to talk with it like this. So there's all these YouTube videos of people with a microphone in front of their face, so you can't really see them. But useful for like recording audiobooks and actually for recording guitar cabinets. This is actually a really good mic for that. I've used it a bunch in the past. I've used them a bunch, but they're kind of a cliche now on YouTube. Now what people like to do is they put a huge preamp in front of it and then they EQ up the bass and they're like, they stuff it down their throat because they want to sound like Rush Limbaugh, and it doesn't sound very natural. Whereas a condenser mic sounds a whole lot more natural, but it picks up everything, right? It's a lot noisier. So, yeah, they're good mics. They're dynamic mics, and they're really low output. So your warning for these is that if you don't have an interface with a pretty hot preamp, and mine's a Focusrite, so it's not the hottest preamp that you can get in an interface. You may need a secondary preamp to get the level up, depending on how loud you talk. Because it's a dynamic mic, it's actually really good for death metal vocals, for singing, anything that you want a close mic sound for. It's very good. It's very good at that. But it's very low output for a dynamic microphone compared to like an SM58 or an SM57. It's really, really low output. So you're going to need a really hot preamp to get the signal level up high enough to use it. And if you are a quiet talker and you want to talk quietly into it, you're going to end up with a pretty high noise floor as well. It's just something that is going to happen with that, right? The noise floor on this, on a Rode, is going to be lower because it's a much more sensitive mic. So your signal noise, that floor is going to be lower, but your room noise is going to be a lot higher. And the way I have my desk set up, it's just not very acoustically set up well. Like I could put some curtains behind me, I could deaden it a little bit, but my life is not really set up very well for that at the moment. Compared to when I started the channel and I had an actual like wood paneled studio that I recorded everything in, which would have gone away as we had more kids anyway, because we had to stick the kids somewhere, right? So, but anyway, there's that. Sorry. Still have like some bronchitis and stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's a good mic for a lot of people, I think, especially if you don't want to do a lot of acoustic work. A lot of people don't know what makes a good sounding room and what room noise is supposed to be. So An SM7B is probably ideal for that. But if you talk loud, then you don't really need to worry about the noise floor on it either. You know, it just depends what you're doing with it. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need like a preamp for an SM7B. You can run it straight into whatever. But generally, if your preamps on your interface are pretty hot, then it's going to be fine. And that's why people talk about quiet preamps too, is because if you have a really low output mic like an SM7B, it's going to be you're going to get more signal noise as you crank up the game. All right, let's take a look at our document here. All right, here it is. Okay, we're on chapter 22. Getting deep into this thing. We just escaped from the Mountain King's realm, right? The realm of Twilight. I was only getting it because I see it used a lot. I haven't got a clue about mics. I have to look into them more. I need a mic that doesn't need to be too close to me. So yeah, an SM7B, it's a dynamic mic. It's just like an SM58. It's got to be within like a fist of your face or it's not going to sound correct. People like the close mic sound. There's a lot of death metal guys who use this. A lot. I know Yari Minpa records almost all his vocals on an SM7B. And so that's how he gets that sound. He can really handle aggressive, like being very aggressive with the microphone. Compared to a condenser mic, which you can still do like, you can still do death metal stuff with a condenser mic, absolutely. But it doesn't respond quite the same way. So you'll find that out. If you're looking for like a beginner mic, a super underrated mic is actually the Blue Yeti. You see it a lot on YouTube because it's like, but it's really, you don't need an interface. It's USB class compliant. You can use it with a phone. It's got a bunch of different patterns that are pretty usable in it. You're mainly just going to use the cardioid pattern if you're just doing dialogue stuff. I've recorded guitar with the Blue Yeti. I've recorded conversations. I've recorded interviews. I've recorded everything with the Blue Yeti. And you can get them on sale for like $70, which is a great deal for the quality of microphone that you're actually getting. You can even get one that has an XLR out, so you could use it with a regular interface. If you're going to use an SM7B, you're going to be spending a lot of money if you don't have any audio equipment already, because there's a bunch of things you need to use it, right? You need the microphone. The microphone is usually several $100s. It's an expensive microphone, but it's a high quality microphone. It's really good. So it's not like it's not like you're flushing the money down the toilet, or like you're not getting what you pay for. It's a really good microphone. I don't want to like down talk the SM7B. It's really good for what you're going to use it for. But you're going to need an interface to use it. So, I have a Scarlett. Now, an interface is a great investment. I have a Scarlett NT1A that I've used since, I think, 2015. Okay, so that's a long time. And
I have dealt with mental and emotional struggles for
I
a
do
very
like
long
that
time.
I get random ads that I never get paid for. So yeah, it is a good investment because you can use it for years and years and years. Mine I have used for, at this point, almost 10 years. The power supply went bad on it. That's the only thing that I've ever had to replace or fix on it. Otherwise, it's been a really, really excellent investment and a really, really good piece of kit for my setup. Okay, that's the, you can't see it, but yeah, it's a red box. So you're going to have to buy something like that. Depending on how you want to use the microphone, you're going to have to buy possibly a preamp, depending on how you do your vocal delivery. If you're a person who talks at a pretty consistently loud, powerful volume, you probably won't need an additional one. But if you're a person who's a quiet talker and you want the NPR quiet voice sound, you're going to need a preamp, because you're just not going to have enough sound going in. You're going to have to either use a preamp, or you're going to have to massively boost your signals afterwards. You can do it with a DAW, but if you're doing live stuff, you might need a preamp, okay, in addition to it. The mic I'm using right now is a Rode NT1. It's from about 2002, 2003, something like that. Rode NT1A. The difference between the NT1 and the NT1A is the NT1A has this little silver body, and the NT1 is just gray. That's the difference. They're the same microphone. I have a matched pair. I have a matched set that I've used for recording concerts and acoustic guitars and violins and everything you can imagine for 20 years. They're great mics. I've had them for a long time. They're not going anywhere, and I'm using one right now because if I wanted to use SM7B, I'd have to hook up a boom. So that's another thing that you need is a boom arm. I have several, but I don't have any that work good with my setup, so I might get another one to use with that. So you'll need some way to position the mic, right? You'll need a mic stand of some kind. So that's going to be an expense. So before long, if you're like, I want to use the SM7B, great. It's a cool mic. It's an awesome mic. If you're going to use it close to your mouth and you're going to buy the other stuff, you're still looking at like a $500 investment. It's not a bad investment because you can use that forever. Like you can use the mic forever. You can use the interface for 10 years. Obviously the mic stands you can use forever, right? So it's not bad investment. But for a lot of people who are trying to dip their toe into content creation, blowing your wad like $500 on a microphone setup is kind of a lot. And for me, if I'm looking at like $500 for a microphone setup, I have a lot of uses for it, right? I can use this for a bunch of different things. I use this for a bunch of different things, right? I have tons of alternate utility for all the stuff I spend. It's not just the YouTube channel. A lot of people don't have that. They just want to record YouTube videos, in which case your sound quality needs to be good enough, right? It has to be good enough to meet the standard. You need your volume up loud enough for people to hear. You need, and I've made all these mistakes like early on too, like 10 years ago. So it's okay, like to not get everything perfect right out of the gate. So yeah, for beginners, I usually recommend like a Blue Yeti. And there's a good reason for that, and that's because the the Blue Yeti is really cheap. And because it's really cheap, you don't feel like you're, if the YouTube thing doesn't pan out, you haven't lost a lot of money on it. Plus, there's a lot of alternate utility to the Blue Yeti, and you can use it away from a computer. You can use it away from a sound interface. You don't need a lot of equipment to use it. Like hooking up an SM7B to a phone is possible. I have the equipment to do it. You just need a class-compliant USB interface, which is not a Focusrite. I have some class-compliant USB interfaces. Are they strong enough to drive the SM7B? I'll find out. Maybe I'll do some content on it. But like, yeah, it's it's what it is. Even this is closer than I used to keep it. Like I used to keep this completely out of frame. It used to be like out over here, or up. Actually, I used to have it way up here, and it would be completely out of frame. Like no one would see it in the camera frame at all, and that's how I liked it. But I've had it here because I just can't seem to get the positioning right with this like giant monitor setup. So the SM7B will allow me to do certain things differently. It's a mic I've been wanting to add to my kind of carousel for a while, with the caveat that I'm not crazy about the way a lot of people happen to use that mic. I think it's a great mic though. So yeah, I'm using a Rode NT1A. It's a great mic. If I wanted to take the time, I could like drop it over here. I could find a position that's really good for it, because it'd be the same distance if I had it boomed here. It'd be the same distance, but it'd be completely out of frame. Which is, having a mic in frame, it's like I'm not crazy about that, but I've had to deal with it because of the positioning problems of this weird like little creative space that I have here with like the doors and everything behind me. It's just you do things according to what's possible. Even my lighting, right? I have this like ring light. It's actually a really bad light. It adds in a bunch of signals into the mic that on the SM7B are picked up even more, that are really annoying. So I'll try to find another mic. But I used to have a whole setup that was really cool, where I had like a big diffusing cloth above me, and like it just completely evenly lit me, and it looked great. And I need to get back and figure that stuff out. But even for 2 years now, I've just been like trying to figure out what's good enough for what I'm doing. When I take the glasses off and you don't see the reflection, it's okay, right? But I'm using my reading glasses to see this, and so, I start to look like, you just see a lot of reflections. That's all, no big deal for right now. Like, it's okay for right now. But what I'll probably do is switch to incandescent bulbs. I know they're hard to find. Would you avoid showing your face if you had to start again? Absolutely, and I wouldn't use my real name. I would never use my real name online if I could do it all over again. But you have to think, like, when I started, it wasn't that big a deal. I was a musician that was gigging, so I was looking to also promote that business, and that business is tied to me and my name. Being a live performer, my face is out there, hopefully all the time, right? So it wasn't a thought, nor did I think that I would be subject to like massive political discrimination, or like the online hate stuff just wasn't in my mind in 2011 or 2013, I guess, when I really started the channel. It just wasn't on my mind. I wasn't thinking like, I won't be able to work again if I have opinions. But that's the world we live in, right? So yes, if I could do it all over again, I would never show my face, and I would never use my real name ever. And I would keep my real identity completely secret. I would publish I would record all videos voiceover only with edited stuff, right? Voiceover with some sort of edited visual. All books would be published pseudonymously, no real names involved. Yeah, absolutely. I would not do a face again, because really I don't have the option to do something different at this point. My options become a lot more limited because my face is out there. It's the world we live in, You know, I didn't anticipate how bad things would be in 2000. Things were bad in 2012, but I didn't see like how bad they would get in 2017, for example, 2020. So yeah, I wouldn't show my face again if I had the option. Like, I can't, in order for me to, like, if I wanted to traditionally publish a book, I'd have to figure out how to be anonymous. And it's a lot harder there because there's legal stuff involved. I can't be anonymous signing legal papers. I can publish under a pseudonym, but like the publisher and the agent pretty much have to know who I am. Whereas I can self-publish pseudonymously easily. That's easy. That's not an issue. Yeah, the issue is like trying to go a different path is just not really possible. No. That's what it is. Right? I'm okay with it, I guess. Thank you for reading Muramasa. I had a lot of fun writing it. But yeah, I wish I had done everything no face involved. Yeah. It's a lot better optionality. It's not like I'm famous. You know, I've put out a lot of stuff. I've sold a lot of books. That doesn't equate to me being like a famous person, except when people want to hurt me. Yeah, Jared, I know. Like, that's the world we're in. Do you plot heavily? I do plot. I mean, depends what you mean by heavily. Some people write out every scene, like really, in a really exact way, and that's fine. I don't do that. I write the big events, and then I just fill those in as I write. So that's how I do it. Yeah, my plotting is mostly just the event sequence, and I fill in the other things kind of as I go. Some people are a little more, I don't know, thorough with their planning, but I tend to like to improvise a lot with each scene. This is a novel. This is a novel I'm writing live. It's a writing lesson if you want it to be, but people ask me to write live forever, so been doing that the last, not quite a year. Argentia is just a name that means silver. Argentina is silver. Do you have any thoughts on the new NOS Fatu movie? I don't know what that is. Sorry. I don't do movie reviews very much anymore. So, something I got away from because I just don't have time to watch movies. And really, I don't enjoy them anymore. Especially new movies. I feel like there's just such a low chance that any new movie is going to be good. It's not, as a consumer, it's not really worth my time to bother with them. And I would do them for views, but the views are really low. So like the optionality for watching movies now for me is really low. And honestly, if I could do it all over again, I would never review a movie on the channel. I'd rather have a smaller channel that just never talked about movies. It's no offense to anyone that likes movies, but it's just like it hasn't brought in the audience that I like or need necessarily. It has brought a lot of negative attention to me, which has had, it's not necessarily good or bad. It is what it is. I haven't seen anything about any new movies. I only know about new movies if you guys tell me about them, because I don't watch movie trailers ever. I don't ever see movie trailers. I never see previews for them. Same thing with game trailers. I don't see them. They're not in my world. Like, they're not shown to me. I don't watch TV, so I just don't know what's going on. I like vampire movies, so if it's a vampire movie, maybe I'll see it. No promises. If it's in cinemas, chances are I won't see it, because going to the cinema is such a costly experience in terms of time and goodwill of my family and everything. I just never bother to do it anymore. Yeah. I never see movie trailers. I haven't seen a movie trailer in years, I think. I mean, maybe there's been like a YouTube ad for one, but I can't think of any. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I don't go out of my way to watch them. So I don't know what's going on or what's out. I only know what movies to see because people ask me to watch them and review them. That's the only time I'll see a movie these days. Unless it's like an old movie. Like I might do some classic movie reviews because I want to talk about movies that are good. So I might do some older movies. We'll see. Like, I'll occasionally watch older movies. A lot of times I watch them when I'm working out because that's just a thing to do. But, like, that's really the only time that I ever consume. Not the only time. Like, I will watch some passive media while I'm eating and ending the night. But I don't consume a lot of passive media. It's, like, really far down on the list of media that I like to consume. So, that's just how it is. You know, there's people who are super passionate about movies, and that's great for them. I used to be that person 20 some odd years ago, but I've had that kind of ground out of me by the boringness of modern movies, and also the difficulty and expense of going to cinemas. Like, cinemas are just not an enjoyable experience for me anymore. I really don't enjoy going to the cinema really at all. And a big reason for that is that every time I go, it's because the only way, like, people still view it as a social experience. So I'll rant on this for just a minute. People still view the cinema as a social experience. So in order to go to the cinema, it has to be a movie that everyone wants to see. And if it's a movie that everyone wants to see, it's going to be complete dog shit, right? It's going to suck, and I'm going to be miserable watching it. Even something that I can, like, on a craftsman level, go like, okay, I understand what they did with this here. But usually I'll just abstain. I'll say, you know what? I'll stay home. I don't want to watch Inside Out 2. I don't want to watch sequel slop. I won't do it. Like, I have more dignity for myself than that. I can think of better things to do with 3 hours of my time than going to see sequel slop. And every movie I see now is some kind of sequel or prequel or remake. It's garbage. It's total dog shit now. Like, I can't believe that people still go to the cinema to watch sequels. But they do, and the reason they make sequels is people are still going to watch them. I was pleased to find out that the prequel of the Lion King live action or photorealistic CGI remake didn't do well. That pleased me. But the movie that stomped it was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Guys, movies are dead. Movies are just dead. I don't know how anyone could be excited for American cinema at this point in time. Yes, independent stuff, cool. Art movies, I can see the virtue in that. But, like, Hollywood cinema, it's dead. It's been dead for years. It's dead as a doornail. There's no original thought there. They're not willing to make anything good. There's no willingness to make good movies in Hollywood anymore. There's only willingness to make sequel slop. Gladiator 2. Why? Why? Why would you make Gladiator 2? What a retarded idea. They're going to make Heat 2. I'm like, Michael Mann, you are too good for this. Can you just do a good movie? Does it have to be sequel slop? That's all I can get a check for, is the sequel slop. Where are we? Francis Ford Coppola did Metropolis, and I didn't get to see that because, again, I can't go to the cinema. I can't get away from my family to go to the cinema. It's not possible, right? My life is too busy. It's too complex. Unless we're all going, I can't go. So, like, yeah, I don't get to see the Francis Ford Coppola movie. I have to wait somehow and see it on video, and that's the way that I'm going to see it. That's the only movie I've been excited for in literally years, and everyone says it sucks. Maybe it does, but it's made by an auteur. It's made by a guy who knows what he wants to make. You know, so I'm willing to throw dice on a piece of art. You know. But Chris Nolan, I don't care. I mean, Chris Nolan did a lot of sequels, right? He did Batman sequels. You know. You have Denis Villeneuve, who's only famous for making remakes and sequels. And people eat his shit up, and it's garbage. It's garbage! God. Drives me nuts. And the thing is, like, I'm gonna go review old movies, and I'm happy to do it because I like to talk about old movies. It's for me. It's for me. It's for my dignity. It's for what I like to talk about. It's for my valuation of creativity. No one's going to watch the review. I'm going to do a review of Scarface because I watched that one recently. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff to say about Scarface. It's a really interesting 80s movie. Right? No one's going to watch that review. No one cares what I have to say about Scarface. I shouldn't say no one. It'll get several hundred views, which is a lot. Several hundred people bothered to want to click on that content. That's actually a lot. Right? But compared to if I had taken the cue in 2015 or whenever and just started talking about Star Wars nonstop and just did what other content creators did and just blasted bullshit complaining videos day after day, I would have made a lot more money. And I probably would have grown the channel a lot more, but I would have hated myself a lot more too. You know, maybe less because I would have had more money, but you know, my soul has a higher value than that. You know. Most movies never interested me that much other than the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and the Star Wars prequels. That's early 2000s. There were still good movies in the early 2000s. The last movie I saw in theaters was Suzume, that new Makoto Shinkai anime movie. It was neat. It's not in theaters here. There's a theater kind of by me that was showing the War of the Rohirrim, but I think it's out already. It's gone. And yeah, everything I saw from that was it's going to be garbage. You know, why should I spend my time watching it? To do a review, to get views, to sell books, right? I'm doing it for money. I want things to be good. I want good things to talk about, but people don't watch reviews people don't watch positive reviews. They love negative reviews. They want to see me shit on something for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And I would do that, but I can only do that so much before I just hate my job. You know? If your job is to watch and talk about things you hate, you're going to hate your life. That's just how it's going to be. I want to focus, I want to do this. I want to write books and I want people to read them. I want to spend my leisure time doing things that are fun. I want to play video games that I like. I got Unicorn Overlord for Christmas. My son got that for me. And that's a great game. Not a great translation, but it's a really fun game and beautiful game to look at. So I would much rather play that for 2 hours than watch the newest sequel slot bullshit. You know, it's 2024. I've been talking about movies for 9 years and people have still not gotten the message about them. I have to conclude that anyone who is going to change has changed and changed his habits and is not interested in movie reviews anymore because he's changed his consumer habits. And anyone that's still interested in negative reviews is never going to change, in which case I don't know why I want to talk to them. They're just not going to change. They're always and I've checked on this before, right? People are we're watching this new Star Wars show very carefully to see if it's good. I'm like, you should not be watching it. You shouldn't be watching Star Wars shows. You hate them. You never enjoy them. Why are you watching them? Because you have some sort of emotional and religious attachment to Star Wars. Give it up. Find something else to do besides Star Wars. Isn't Nolan going to make a film about the Odyssey with Zendaya and Holland? Yeah, that was my hit. That was my hit tweet. God, what a stupid casting choice. Tom Holland. Tom Holland has the screen presence of a freaking turd. He's even worse than Timothée Chalamet. I can't understand this new crop of actors. They can't act. They have no presence. They have no charisma. They deliver their lines like an AI talk. Maybe they're AI. Maybe they're not real. Maybe they've never been real. I haven't really considered that. Sorry. I get on a rant when it's maybe the Nosferatu movie's cool. I'll go see it because I like vampires, right? Maybe that's a thing for me. Maybe that's the rare movie for me. I wouldn't even know about it unless people were telling me about it right now. I don't know anything. There's been vampire movies. Nosferatu sounds cool. I like Shadow of the Vampire. That was a weird one. That was a fun one. Yeah, there's so many old movies to watch. They're great. So if you haven't watched Scarface, so watch The Godfather, Part 1 and Part 2 and Part 3. Actually, Part 3 is underrated, in my opinion. And watch Scarface. And you're going to get something out of Scarface, because Scarface in some ways is like an inversion of the Michael Corleone character, right? He's just an inversion in a lot of ways. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, let me write some more words here. What's your opinion on the remade, remastered Oblivion rumor? So, I don't know anything about it. I only know because people have said, hey, they're remaking it. Well, I think Oblivion and Skyrim and Morrowind are in this category of games that you don't really need to remake. Because the modding community is so strong, mods are, in essence, the remake. Although modding Oblivion has not been as popular as Morrowind or as Skyrim, you can graphically overhaul Oblivion to look pretty damn good. So in terms of graphics, there's not a lot of reason to remake it. The reason to remake it would be to improve maybe some of the flaws that have set in over time, which would be like the fact that there's only like 5 voice actors, right? There's things that you can improve about Oblivion with the remake. The question is whether you trust the company to do that remake, or you think that they're gonna whiff it and screw it up, because there's already people trying to make Sky Oblivion, right? They're trying to port Oblivion into the Skyrim engine. Now, what's the point of that? It's really the same engine. Well, you're gonna paste over Oblivion's top tier gameplay with Skyrim's second-rate gameplay. That right away makes me not interested in what you're doing. Oh, but then you can use all these Skyrim mods. Yeah. So there's an advantage. However, you're going to be giving up the good gameplay of Oblivion for the much watered down gameplay of Skyrim. I don't hate Skyrim's gameplay, but it is watered down compared to Oblivion's. Okay, Oblivion had the action RPG combat really nailed, and Skyrim's was good, but it was just the RPG systems had been eliminated, so that just wasn't very good there. Like little talent trees instead of leveling up your skills and attributes just wasn't as interesting to me. You know, so anyway, it might be good. There's a possibility it'll be good. I'm going to check it out for sure because I love Oblivion. But I don't really trust the modern game company to remake a game like that without ruining what made it good and what gave it great atmosphere. No one can serve 2 masters. He'll either hate one and love the other. Yeah, can't serve God and Mammon. Video games are doing well making sequels to old movies like The Thing and Ghostbusters. Then video games went. Video games really peaked in 2007. I have articles on this and some video essays that go with it. I call it Gaming Ground Zero. 2007 was when video games peaked. They reached their peak at 2007, and it's a soft peak, right? 2007, you start having some of the best games ever made. A bunch of established franchises began in 2007. Assassin's Creed, you had like Far Cry, I think, was actually 2000, but it's around that time. You had Oblivion come out. You had all the open world stuff start. You had all of these peak games happen around that time. Then about 2010, everything really settles into sequel slop, right? 2009, you got Dragon Age Origins, the last time you had a major AAA game like starting a new franchise. Maybe Dishonored was maybe the latest that I can think of. You had Demon Souls in 2007, right? You got all of these new things that established the way that games, like the potential of what games could reach. And then it's been sequel slop and mud genre stuff ever since. Because game companies really started looking at games rather than as a fun, holistic experience. They started looking at them as a list of design elements, right? Like our game has to have crafting and open world and blah, blah, blah. Like they have a list of features it has to have, and it just makes every game into a mud genre crap. It's not that there's not any good games. There are great games to be found, great games to be played since then. But we're talking the peak. When things were like every game that came out was really good and you were excited about it, it was that period from 2006 to about 2009. So 2007 is where I placed the peak. That was the last time where you could reasonably expect every game to come out would be like knocking your socks off. And we don't have that anymore. Use a Fallout 4 mod to play Skyrim. Fallout 3 was my favorite for a while, but without Oblivion, I wouldn't have played it. I mean, Fallout 3 it took a lot from Oblivion, in a good way. I like Oblivion a lot more than Fallout 3, but Fallout 3 was good. I had a lot of fun with it. I haven't played it in a long time, though. BioWare's working on Mass Effect 5. You know what's going to be like after what happened to Dragon Age, yeah. I never finished Fallout 4. I don't know if I even got through like the intro. I think I got too bored. I think I got so bored by it, like I couldn't even get more than like an hour or two into the game. Yeah, I've played From Software games. Always liked them. I haven't played one in a long time though. We're about good on chapter 22. 23. So leave the journey back. Okay, chapter 24 is going to be, we'll have 2 chapters probably that'll be the climax and final conflict. We kind of want to get quickly through the paces to get people back to where there's a conflict. We're going to just move the characters really quickly through that portion of the story because there's not a lot more conflict to be resolved there, right? We're going to stop by the little draconic village and see what happened there, and then we're going to move on to the capital as quickly as possible in order to deal with Alfred's main conflict. Now that we've resolved a bunch of different conflicts as we've gone here. So now everybody gets to fulfill their purpose. We're gonna have 1 transition chapter, and then we're gonna have probably 2 climax chapters. Probably 1 chapter of like, what do you call it, resolution or falling action, and that'll close out the book. So chapter 23 is this one. We're gonna go with heading. Okay. So 24, 23, 24, 25, 26. So probably 4 more chapters. We'll end up with about 23, 24, 25, probably 26 chapters. Yeah. Come out to about 110,000 words, which is a really good length. And then we'll come up with a list for editing. We'll edit it. We'll do all the revisions. Then we'll put the book out. And I'll show you how to put the book out. Man, I haven't even plugged the Christmas book. It's still available. Oh no, I dropped my controller. Eternal Dream Christmas 2024. It's only available through the end of January, so you should buy it. I'll link it right here. I need to be plugging it. I'm not on top of my game plugging the book. This has all the Eternal Dream books except for it doesn't have the Moonsong books, but it's what it is. You can get the ebook for only $9.99. That's 10 books for $10. That's a really good deal. And you can get this giant paperback. It's really big. It has the full text of a whole bunch of books in it. So please do check that out. That is a limited time deal. I've done those before. They go away. So if you're wanting to get it, my husband bought me the book for my Christmas gift. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That'll be going away at the end of January, so do buy that. It's got a bunch of books kind of crammed into one, which is very fun. There it is. All right. So that's that. And I'll link my Patreon. Patrons can read this book that I'm writing as it's being written, so you get the first draft experience if you want that. So that's one of the benefits for patrons. You get a different book every month. This month's book is Afterglow Generation Y. Here it is. This is this month's book. So you get this ebook free for being a patron. In January it'll be a new book. I don't know what I'll do for January. Make a request and I might put that on the list there. So Afterglow Generation Y. Technically people already got to read King Leopard. That'll be coming out in 2025. I have the cover for that. Let me find the cover real quick. I'll show it to you before we go. And I'm okay ending it here. I'm a little bit sick and I feel like I'm going to cough a lot more. So it's better to end it a little early than to like be hacking up a lung. There it is. Oh, that's the black version. Where's the green version? Here we go. All right, yeah, here we go. So I think I might also do like a wide format ebook cover just to have something a little different. Okay, so there's our cover. Here's the black version, regular green version, and here's a green version with the kind of split up a little bit. I think I like this design the best. And here's the wide version. Might do a wide ebook. You can actually do an ebook cover like in whatever shape you want. So it's kind of, you can do something different here. So that'll be fun. All right, art by Jesse White. A little 3-tone painting. Should be fun. Should look good. So that's that. Anyway, I think that's about it for today. Finished up that chapter. Next week we'll start the final bits of this book, and we'll try to get it done. Try to get it finished. I wanted to have it finished by the new year, but I had to miss some streams because of a bunch of things going on. So that happens. And I just wrote more book and a little slower than I thought I would. Only wrote about 1,500 words tonight, which is a little bit less than what I do. I usually do like 3,000 words in one session. So that's, it's less. I've spent time talking about movies. Yeah, he's like the Scottish king from Braveheart. He's falling apart. And you figure that out. It's a fun story. My wife's reading it right now. I gave her an early version. So, all right, that's it, guys. Have a great one. Thank you so much for joining me and bothering with my rants. I actually do like movies. I don't watch them a lot anymore, but I'm not super interested in new movies because Hollywood's kind of crushed that excitement over the years. So that's that. I don't want to come off as too much of a curmudgeon, right? But if I want to, I'll probably do a review of some older movies that I've been thinking about, like Scarface, just because that's for the valuation of creativity. It's important to do that, but I don't expect people to watch the reviews. So that's that. Have a good one, and I will see you all next time. Actually, yeah, I'll see you. It'll be the new year, so I'll see you next time and next year. Have a great one, and yes, Eternal Dream Christmas.